Mic test, 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2. Nothing? Good. One, two, three. Mic check. You think it's too loud? It's fine. One, two, three. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Low. And that one, because in this one I can't hear. Mic check. 2. Yeah. This off. This off.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3.
Jim. You ready? You ready?
That's why I don't play with God. I don't play with him at all, period. Dawn to come. Did she come and take her? She took your chair.
Who took your chair?
Oh, there's a chair right here. She came to a chair. A chair was moved. My bro, look, my brother, Junior. My,
I didn't get the phone.
it's my
Good
brother's
evening.
phone.
This meeting is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Lewis.
Present.
Trustee Williams.
Here.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Present.
Trustee Fulcher.
Present.
Trustee Thompson.
Present.
Trustee Brooks. Mayor Reed.
I'm here, Madam Clerk. Let's please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Are there any general public comments regarding anything on the agenda? If not, we're going to go right into item 51A. This is a discussion and economic development agreement with retail strategies for procurement of retail.
It's what? Oh, me.
We're going to do after him, let's do the next one. 'Cause he got to get a plane too to get out of here.
Who is that? Who? This man?
Yes. We'd like to move up to Kane Cars, the guy to leave early, but he's older.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to preface this agenda item just to give some information. So the gentleman who's going to be presenting is John Teed. He's the Director of Community Partnerships with Retail Strategies, and we had the pleasure of meeting him at ICSC in Vegas. And it was a very productive meeting. We discussed with him some of the communities he's worked with. He works specifically as pretty much a conduit between different retailers and businesses, whether it's restaurants, shopping centers, shopping companies, and he finds specific properties within the village, and he already knows what the developers are looking for. He has direct contact with them. As we were actually in Vegas, he was actually meeting with different companies for other municipalities, and there were a couple different municipalities. I know one of them was the mayor of Zion, who happened to walk up, and we did ask about him and his company, and he gave glowing reviews and just talked about a lot of the businesses that he's brought to their community. So with that, John, I know you have a presentation, so thank you for flying here to give this presentation today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, and thank you all for having me. I did meet the mayor and a couple trustees all in Las Vegas, and that's what we do. We basically do exactly what you all are in Vegas trying to do, and we're trying to bring retail to the communities that we work with through a lot of different ways I kind of want to go through. And I just spent I was here, less than a week ago, driving around, meeting with the mayor and driving around the city and looking at some sites, and you have a lot of opportunity here as far as, open sites, and you have a whole college of kids, I'm told, don't have a lot of places to shop or eat at with probably their parents' credit card to spend, and we want to try to solve that issue. So I work for a company called Retail Strategies. Here's some of our industry involvement. Like I mentioned, ICSC, and these are some of the brands we work with. You can see over here, lots of basically any major national brand we work to bring to communities. And our role is very simple. It's to fill the gap of bringing retail to a community. And now, Ms. Scott, the mayor, everybody has a lot of different things going on. Not a lot of time, basically, in any government, big or small, to focus on bringing retail to a community. And that's the hole we fill, bringing in, job creation, sales tax revenue, new business, quality of life to our communities. We do that in 3 steps. Step 1 is the data. Obviously, data drives a lot of decisions. So we do what's called a customized trade area, gap analysis, peer analysis, where we compare this community to a community that's just like that and say, hey, what does this community have that University Park does not, and why? And that's a good conversation starter when we go to a retailer. And doing the prospects and site criteria and saying, hey, let's look up sites that we have around the market and what we can use to develop them. Mobile data, I mentioned, this is using GPS data that can be purchased from data retailers. I drew a trade area. Obviously, you can see here the boundary of University Park, and then as it's beyond, goes out towards Steger and probably down into Monee a little bit. And I ran this data off the Family Dollar, so it's hard to see here, but I can show you all about this. But it tells you about how many people come in and out every day. Visits by distance, visits by day, allows us to go to a retailer or to a community and say, hey, this is what we have to work with, and these are the people traveling in and out of this Family Dollar and buying things. Here's kind of an example, peer analysis, where we have like a community that, one of our clients and then a similar community in each one of these specific sectors, and say, hey, what do they have that this community doesn't, and allows us to really be a conversation starter there. We talk about prospects and site criteria. I use Dunkin' Donuts as an example. Dunkin' Donuts is really one of the smaller, easier things to get built. It's growing very rapidly. These are some of the things they're looking for. The drive time radius, minimum population, household income, daily traffic. All those are on there listed as rules. All these rules can be broken. What they're really looking for is a site where they can build and be profitable, and that's what we want to show them. Step 2 is a real estate analysis. This is where we come in. Our team are all licensed commercial real estate agents. It's important to note we don't take any real estate commission at all. We are literally just the matchmaker. The local brokers, the local people are free to take that own job. That deal belongs to them. We're just connecting the 2 people. So we're coming in doing the site metrics, doing a property inventory, and then matching particular retailers to those sites. Here's an example, a real-life property inventory for a small community we have in Missouri called Marshburg. These are sites we've mapped out as potential retail sites right here. So this allows us to always have, hey, this is a big list of places we have to go with. To get that, we travel back to the market. We drive around literally with someone in the front seat with a laptop, cataloging assets, as we say. Here's a good site for this. There's a great pad site next to the Family Dollar I noticed earlier. There's a great site right there next to the Quick Trip that could be developed out. All these would be really good retail sites because they're already adjacent to popular retailers. And from this, we got a list of major potential focus sectors. So obviously, casual and sit-down restaurants. We have a college here that is a completely untapped resource of sales tax revenue that the city, really should be, cashing in on. I put in particular pizza and coffee. I mean, a pizza restaurant's a pretty easy thing to open. Coffee would sell great among the college kids and things like that. Gas and convenience, health and personal care, clothing and soft goods, and then special services like cellular, haircuts, and batteries, battery stores and things like that. All great candidates for a market like this. There's great sites right here in this shopping center that could be backfilled. This room, and things adjacent to this could be easily backfilled into a small, soft goods store. So I said, understanding the data is crucial, but what are we doing with it? Data, is really only a piece of the puzzle. The relationships are what do this. This is why the mayor and the staff went to ICSC to build these relationships with retailers and help draw them into the city. So I said, data is the first step towards retail recruitment. We have access to the same data that they do. And the current data won't really take into account the population and spending of college students if they don't technically live here. So if they come from a different part of the state or a different state, that is money that is being spent that data can't really track, but we know is here because the college is here and these kids are traveling, elsewhere to spend their money. And step 3 is really just the raw labor of it. I mean, our team is smiling and dialing, getting, 30 no's before we get a maybe and trying to make that maybe a yes. It's a long process. It is brutal, day in, day out labor of calling, texting, emailing, going to ICSC in Las Vegas, supporting, your efforts that as you go there, going to ICSC in Chicago and in Dallas and Atlanta, setting down the sites from this community in front of other retailers and saying, take a look at University Park. Take a look at this specific site. The city is ready to deal. The city wants you here. These are people that would really benefit from this. And this is a city that could use it. These options and things that we've talked in the past, particularly food. We take all that information. We update people in the city, whoever's kind of going to be our point of contact, probably Ms. Scott, on software called Basecamp, so the city can check in at any given time to give the council a recommendation or to give an update and say, hey, what is the deal with that particular piece of land that they were talking on? What is, do we have someone interested in this piece of land? What is the negotiation looking like? Do we have a co-tenant? Are we incentivizing it? Anything like that is logged for the city to be able to look at any given time. This is, I know you probably hear from a lot of consultants that come up here and the city brings them in and then they come back 3 years with a solution. That's not this. This is an employee that reports to the city basically, multiple times a month with our efforts and what we're doing. Conference representation, we already kind of mentioned it, specifically, to this market would be Chicago, Las Vegas, Retail Live there's one in Indianapolis. We're setting up meetings with retailers and we're pointing them to the sites that are appropriate to fill in what they're looking for. A lot of times that's one-offs. A lot of times that's trying to get 3 guys or 3 different retailers to go in together and ground up an opportunity to build in an existing site. Like the one like a Family Dollar is a great example of that. We are a large team. Our company has almost 50 people in it. Like I mentioned, our ground team that does this work are licensed real estate agents. You could call them, text them, email them anytime, even if it doesn't have anything to do with retail. If you had a land deal that the city-owned piece of land or you had an industrial deal that was coming, feel free to call and text. We want to be partners in this. We want to work with you and understand the land and the property landscape as much as possible. And as far as deliverables, the hard copies of stuff we get, the market analysis, that's all the data that you would need on the community for retail. Retail recruitment plans between 80 and 100 pages long. We're presenting that to the city as basically saying, this is what we want to do, asking for the city's blessing, and then running with that. And then a marketing guide you can keep on your desk, you can keep in the meeting and say, hey, this is what we're all about. These are available sites for retailers that might come in, even if they're local. If you had someone come want to start a local business, a lot of that same data would apply. With that, I'll take any questions. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I can hear you. How can you be assured of our work product? Great question. It's the most common question we get. The answer is through references. Through our body of work and what we've done so far. I think the mayor knows Mayor McKinney in Zion. We've been working with him a long time. We also work with Volo, with McLeansboro, with Lyle, with Quincy, a bunch of other cities in Illinois, and almost 200 cities nationwide. We provide a list of references. We could provide 10 more, dozen more if the city wanted to call through, and I encourage you to. I think that is, my selfish ambition is to make a good reference out of University Park and go do this again someday. So we are very strong in the references we have and the retail we've already recruited to cities like this nationwide.
Trustee Brooks.
Yes, sir. On one of them, on one of the slides I seen where you said rules can be broken. Apparently, the number one reason that apparently businesses have yet to build or establish here, especially along University Parkway, they claim traffic. How would you be able to get around that? Because as far as I'm concerned, and those who live here, I think that statement is pretty much absurd. Because you have everyone going to the college. You have people who live in this village who, number one, they're either coming or going, whether it's to go purchase food or leave University Park, period. How would we, and so that's why when someone says that the traffic is too low to have a Dunkin' Donuts here or a McDonald's here, because I agree with you. Something can sit right next to the Family Dollar. A lot of businesses, compared to what we've been getting here, can come up in this town center. But with you, I ask, how can you break that particular rule that seems to be the number one reason they claim that they can't come, or any business claim they can't come to University Park?
Sure. The main way I would answer that if I were talking to a retailer is that people aren't going down that road yet because there's not a lot there. And if there were something there, then the traffic would increase. Right now, say if you live on the west side of town, you're probably getting on the highway, you're going up to Richland to go to Walmart, you're maybe going to Madison for some things. You're not headed down University Parkway because there's not much there yet. If you don't need to go to Family Dollar, or the object that you need isn't currently served by Family Dollar or Dollar General, you have no other choice, right? So our answer to that is let's consider the trade area. The slide I went back that has all the bigger area, and say your consumers in this city are not necessarily your constituents. There are people that live south of here, that live to the east and west, and maybe sometimes north of here that have to come here to work, or they pass through here to work, or they go to college here, that aren't necessarily considered in that data. So if a retailer were to look at this community on Wikipedia and they say, oh, there's like 8,000 people here, forget it. That's what we want to, these are the people we want to talk to. Okay, well, that doesn't matter how many people live here, because how many people travel here, and how many people would travel here if they were given an opportunity to buy something. And I said the rule's meant to be broken. Nobody actually cares about any of the rules other than the money-making rule. If we can demonstrate that something will be profitable here, that's all they care about. And I think if we came down and we sat down with a Dunkin' Donuts-like retailer, or a Pizza Hut-like retailer, or an oil change retailer, and say, hey, there's an entire college here of kids who have to drive 8 miles away to go literally buy anything. That's the first part of that conversation. What about all the money of all these kids who want to go take a date, or want to go buy a pizza, or want to go sit in a Dunkin' Donuts and study? None of that is counted in data. All of that is part of the story that we want to tell that goes beyond just what you could find online.
Would you all be able to, because I noticed you mentioned Family Dollar. Are you familiar with the outskirts like Cicero that belongs to us?
Yeah, I mean, the boundaries of the city are pretty crazy, so I don't know exactly where it ends yet, but that's something we would get to know really well.
You know where Carvana, the maintenance plant,
I
is
do.
at?
I drove
Okay.
right by it earlier.
Great. I'm glad you did. Because in my opinion, to the day I die, that should have been more of a shopping center than Carvana. But the question I asked for you, which would be, would be close to a seal to deal with me because I freshly heard what residents want off this campaign trail. They don't like what they see, but is it plausible to bring retail around that area as well, even if we have to zone for it? Is it plausible that you can attract a business to come and build or come around that area?
Absolutely. You know, the biggest deciding factor in that is how willing the city is to do that. You mentioned zoning. Great point. You know, we're talking about a partnership here. That's something we count on the city to do. To be ready to deal, you know, if we have a retailer interested to get that thing permitted and get it zoned quickly. So, you know, a lot of times what is doing and killing deals now is interest rates. So if someone buys a piece of property and they have to wait a year to get the thing permitted, you know, that's going to be a major, you know, factor in the decision making of that. If we can, you know, demonstrate and tell the story, University Park is here to do that business. They're here to do things quick. They're here to get the thing zoned and get it, you know, platted out right the way you want it. Then that is a major contributor, particularly in a state like Illinois, where, you know, we'll be honest, nationally it doesn't have a very good reputation for things moving quickly in government.
Right.
And so that's part of my job, is to find cities like this. When I met the mayor in Las Vegas, and then last week here, I think that is a great indicator of what retailers will be looking for to come to a community.
Any major grocers that you recruited to help blighted areas that are food deserts? You have any records on those?
We've done a lot of those in major food deserts. We're doing one right now in Atlanta, in a community in Atlanta. That's a tough one, and it's a long process, but absolutely, you know, that is something that we've worked on and that cities have hired us to do. You know, one of the easiest ways to do that is to convert a Dollar General to a Dollar General market. That's a pretty common way to do that right now, to add fresh food back into it. That's typically like a step 3 in retail. You know, those things will follow other smaller things. And I think the solution for University Park is to bring smaller things first, to bring a Pizza Hut, to bring a Dunkin', to bring a Valvoline, something like that, and demonstrate its success, and then come back in a year and say, hey, we have raised the traffic. We have brought more people to, you know, as a destination now, to be able to tell that story to a higher tier like a grocery.
Okay. I agree with you, too. We need a lot of those smaller, because that's exactly what they're doing next door in Monique. Last question, what is about the average when someone has hired you that you would say we see some type of results? Does it depend on the board and the changing of permit, you know, like you said, when they deal with permits, getting things passed, negotiation? What's about the average time of success?
I'd say average would be about 2 years, average. That has a lot of external factors. I mean, obviously, I mentioned the permitting. That is a huge factor that you can control. There's a lot of extrinsic things that the city can't control, like interest rates, government uncertainty, bond uncertainty, you know, stores closing and opening. Right now in ICSC, I think we had maybe the most encouraging ICSC I've been to, and I've been doing this for been going to ICSC now for 5 years. With the amount of openings, Jersey Mike's just got acquired by private equity. They're opening stores basically 3 or 4 a week. That's a great example of a brand that would be great near a college.
Right.
A lot of external factors, but I'd say average 2.5 years.
Okay. I yield my time, Mr. Mayor.
John, also, could you, we also told you about the train station, the Metro train station, which is our stop and start, where everybody does come in, and you were looking at that study as well, the traffic that comes. Metro parking and ridership has gone up since COVID. The trains are packed. So we did speak with him at ICSC about the Metro train station, how busy it is at certain points in the morning time and certain points in the evening time. We did speak with John about that, and he was going to look into that as well.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I didn't mention that at all, and that's a great point.
Yeah.
That is a great example of something that's not counted in data. And so when a retailer goes, and if, you know, if someone is in an office in Dallas, Texas, which is where everybody seems to be located now, and they're looking at this community, and there's so many options here, right? I mean, how many cities are outside Chicago? 150? And what we want to do is put your resume on the top of the pile, so to speak. and point that out. That's a great example of that. Hey, there are people coming off this train. This is not counted. Illinois DOT cannot count this as people driving over a line to make a traffic count. And that's important. That's a great point of saying what we would consider party per story.
I just wanted to say that when I went to the ICSC conference, one of the major things that was pointed out was rooftops. And I know on the different calls that I've been on with the Transit and Housing Authority, that's something that we're looking to do. And over there by the college, there was land, and Liz or the mayor can correct me if I'm wrong, there was land that the Manilow, and yes, and we were looking at rooftops, boutiques, restaurants, bakeries, things along that line, which would be ideal because our college students for the longest have suffered. They don't have a McDonald's or Burger King or a Pizza Hut to go to. So I'm hoping that we can partner with you and that we can make those things happen. I know that GSU, when Dr. Green was meeting with the mayor, she was looking at off-campus housing, things like that to grow our population. So I see this as being a successful partnership, and I thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a question.
Sure.
Hello. Yeah. So I was looking at the different communities that you all have worked with. I haven't seen any that has pretty much the same type of population as ours. So, I know you said you can do references, but a lot of the communities that you all have worked with have a higher population than what's here in University Park. Same thing like what Trustee Williams was saying about the rooftops. So, how does that factor in for the overall looking at the projections when we look at different things like that? Because I couldn't see like an example based off of that you all have worked with based off of our community size.
Yeah, so that was a question I think Ms. Scott or the mayor raised when I was here last week. Great question, too. We work with a community called Altus, Oklahoma. There's, I think, 2,500 people that live there. Carl Junction, Missouri is another one I can think of that has maybe 3,800 people and 0 national retail so far. There are certainly other communities that we have that are small that just happen to not have any in here right now. McLeansboro, Illinois, has maybe 2,200 or 2,400 people in it and is very rural with nothing. I mean, they're going 20 miles to the grocery store. What it changes is what you're going to get. So I can tell you right now, we're probably not going to get a Costco, and we're probably not going to get a Target. Whereas we're working with the city of Tulsa, where we're working on, major projects for them, major, gigantic deals that are going to go because they're much, much bigger. It just changes what we're looking for. And the list I had that I made, that was specific for this community. Maybe a Valvoline or a Pizza Hut or a Dunkin', coffee or scooters or a coffee place to serve the college kids. It's just the kind of retail, and we're kind of the phase where you have to crawl before you can walk. And we want to start the crawling phase, and then in a couple years, we hope we get to the walking phase. And but it just changes the type of retailers that we're going to look at initially.
Okay. And for your investment, retail recruitment, what is this amount based off of? What does this all consist of? The services you
What do you get?
Yes.
All the data. You get the real estate analysis, and then the day in, day out partnership of recruitment. So that's where we're working on your behalf, reporting to your staff, whoever you designate, on a monthly basis on our efforts. Really what you're getting is a part-time economic development person doing nothing but recruiting retail. And that's a team of 3. I say person, that's 3 people.
So for your software services, I think I was reading where it's open for the entire board will be able to have access, or is it just the one particular person that would be able to have access to get this information?
We could do as many as you want. I would say you would probably carefully consider doing the whole board, given the laws about land deals. So if there was to be a specific land deal, and a lot of times with communities, if the entire board is on it, then it has to be public record, and that could kind of kill a land deal. That's completely up to you. we'll add as many people as you want.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you. This is something that the village truly needs. It's something that the village is on the brink of. I just am in shock when it comes down to where the village is headed. And so this will be a good partnership. But we need, our residents are apprehensive of a lot of different changes and different things like that. So you did say it's a 2-year turnaround for them to start seeing things.
I would say about average, just given how long it takes to do construction and things like that. We talked about the expense, and what we haven't really just talked about is the ROI, the sales tax revenue that would come from bringing a Dunkin' or something like that. Ideally, we work hard to get to where the city is at least breaking even on this and playing with house money, so to speak, so we could go in and really make more money. And so, Zion, Mayor Billy and Mayor, we've been working with for 7 years. I know obviously it's a little bit bigger of a city. They have their own challenges. They're right next to Wisconsin, and it's pretty tough to convince people to come over that border from Wisconsin to come do business in Illinois. But we've gotten, I think, 4 or 5 retailers there. They're profiting about $250,000 a year in sales tax revenue. That would be our aim. That's our goal, is to bring in sales tax revenue, jobs, increase property tax revenue for the city.
On the eastern side of the county, where we are in Will County, we don't have a home improvement store. The closest one is in Madison, but in this area, which is Will County, we don't have one. Do you guys do that?
Yeah, that was on my list. I don't think I addressed it, but it was at the bottom. I know you can't see. I think a small one like an Ace or a True Value would be great. Those are largely franchise driven. So part of our strategy with that would be go find a local franchisee, whoever has the closest one of those, and see if they consider opening another. Definitely, that was on my list.
Would it be safe to say that the majority of the retail that you're going to bring is going to go on the outskirts of the village, which would be like the Cicero corridor?
It would be safe to say that it would go anywhere where retail already is first. So next to the Family Dollar, next to the Dollar Tree, next to the Quick Trip is probably one of the best ones in town. Okay. Cicero, yes, they would be much more likely to follow where existing retail is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thompson?
I have one more. I think it's for the village manager, though. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Scott?
Still can't hear me? I think this is for you. Don't we have an analysis, a data analysis for like retail from Antero? Don't we have that done already?
No, we do not, and there's different numbers that they bring to the table, like he said, as far as the numbers for the colleges and things that aren't taken into exception. And so, no, and it's different because usually people will just give you data, like I know you've gotten before from different investigations and things like that. They actually take the data, utilize it on a consistent basis. Am I correct in saying that?
Oh yeah. Data is just a small part of what we're doing here. That's our conversation starter. I think the product here that we're offering the city is the labor of working and reporting to you in the city and saying, telling the story over and over and over again to try to get a yes.
And Antero is engineering, so they do more traffic study type things like that because they have to do with engineering. They only do retail, bringing in businesses. Antero doesn't do that, so it's different. They do have different data, but it's driven in a different way. It's from an engineering standpoint, studies for streets, the street traffic and things like that, but it's a different angle of data that they provide.
All right. Any other questions? We good to go? I
Thank
just
you,
want to make one point. How important is the ingress and egress off of I-57 in the daytime workforce, which exceeds in our industrial park at least 12 to 15,000?
That's very important. The ingress and egress can sometimes make a deal or not do a deal depending on how it is to get out. There's some that have very, very strict requirements for that. Again, obviously you can't control the ingress off a federal interstate, but you can control a lot on your local roads. And going back to the point I made earlier, if the city's willing to deal with that and do curb cuts and put a light in or put a stop sign in and do a study, that will absolutely move mountains of retailers.
And just for the record, starting November, we're going to be lighting up Cicero Avenue for spring of '26, so that'll be
Perfect timing.
All right, that's it for me. Great. If anybody else, well,
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
All right. I would like to ask one of the trustees to make a motion of the sake of Mr. Kankar, moving item 51J up to, in place of 51B. Motion by trustee Jenkins Bell,
Second.
second by Lewis. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Lewis.
Votes aye.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Falcher.
Both sides.
Trustee Thompson.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks. Mayor Rivera.
Vote aye, Madam Clerk. All right, thank you so much, Board. Item 51J, a discussion and intimate, now it's going to be item 51D, but B. So now this is a discussion and intergovernmental agreement between the Village of University Park and University Park Park District. Mr. Kankar. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Hello, everybody. My name is Vince Kankar, and I'm municipal attorney for suburbs throughout the Cook and Will and actually Kankakee County. The item you have on the agenda is a proposed intergovernmental agreement between the village and the Park District. This provides for a mechanism, a framework, whereby the village will transfer certain properties that it owns to the Park District. Thereafter, the Park District will maintain, will insure, and operate all of those transferred facilities. The village will still have the right to use and schedule any events it wishes to schedule for the park, for the properties which have been transferred. In effect, the village will no longer be in the recreational business. The Park District will handle all those facilities and operate the programs on its own. There is a provision, this is a 5-year agreement, and the only thing that's still missing, the major thing, is where properties are going to be transferred. There's an Exhibit A, which has nothing on it at this point. That still has to be worked out before the final agreement would be in order to be approved by the village and by the Park District. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, anybody? Trustee Brooks.
Yes, sir. What baffled me when I seen this, I'm trying to figure out what property or properties we're going to give to this park district.
Well, it's not in here, and that's obviously further negotiations and discussion. This is just a framework that would be operated off of.
To some of those questions. It would be every property that was under the Park and Recreation Department, which would be Regal Farm, Palmer Park, the 4 Tot Lots, Hickok Pool, Pine Lake, and Craig Park.
Okay. And of course, the board have to agree to this, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back on this again. We're doing all of this when we could just simply repeal Park and Rec and put it right back in the budget for $250,000. instead of going on a referendum for a second time and asking these taxpayers for $800,000, they are already pissed about this latest tax bill. And it's going to go up again because the money for the Park District hasn't landed yet. But the biggest part is that you're the first person we ever seen talking about Parks District. So I'm glad I seen some eyes, because that was going to be my number one question. Who represents the Park District? Number two, members of this Park District. I made it very clear, if this is what the people want, I'll work with you. But aren't we taxed enough already? I know when it came to dealing with Regal Farm, and let me just say, like when I read, and someone told me, you know, we have legal consultants, but I just want to kind of give a little example I want the people to hear. Like number 6, the village agrees that while it has access and use of any Park District owned property, let me go further down. The village own the cost and expense through the insurance, self-insurance, risk pool, out of the pocket. The village is solely responsible for any damages and repairs to the property or the district equipment while the village is in use. We might as well keep what belongs to us, and if we break it, we fix it. And this is nothing against you, sir. But you did answer the question, because I didn't know who and what property was going out. Senator Joyce and a couple more legislators just gave us money for Regal Farm. We're trying to restore things. I'm still confused, because if I sit here and someone tell me we got $19 million in the bank, but yet, yes, I just heard someone just say, huh? Did I not hear that, trustees? Did I not hear we had $19 million? 22, oh, okay. So what are we doing here? So we helping another government rise. I'm kind of baffled by this. But I'm going to just make it clear, I'm not in agreement. In 48 hours, if we want to, by Thursday, we can have Park and Rec. I say it again, Elizabeth Scott can hire a Park and Rec director, and we keep moving. We've been taxed enough already. Get ready to yield my time, but I'll make it plain and clear. Why are we asking for money to get things done, especially Palmer Park and everything else? And the people already, some people said, Mayor, just being honest, especially on the south end of town, they said, tell them damn board members they pay the $9 because you taxed me enough already. And that's on the south end of town. I yield my time.
Thank you for your comments, Trustee Brooks. Just a little FYI before I go to Trustee Williams. 1,400 residents said yes to the Park District, 1,000 said no. Majority rules. Trustee Gina Williams.
That was not the number, Mayor.
Okay, it was 1,213, I believe, that said yes to it. And I originally was not among those. I did vote no. I was asking for a community center, but the people spoke, and the people that voted for this, I don't think we should just turn our backs on them and decide, well, y'all voted for it, but you're going to get what you get. Now, we gave $750,000 a year to Parks and Rec. And again, it was a train wreck. And people weren't talking. People weren't saying anything. Place falling apart, but nothing was done. Every time I sign my daughters or my granddaughter up for some type of activity, gymnastics, ballet, whatever they offer, next thing I'm getting a call, oh, it's canceled. Why? Oh, we didn't have the 10 people that we needed. Why? Because you didn't market it right. You didn't go out to places like the churches and the school to try and bring them in. We're running around in lots with glass and grass and not getting anything accomplished. I just want to see something get accomplished for our young people and for our seniors. And if we paid $750 then, $50,000 more, okay. I just think that we can't just ignore what the majority has said. Just like when they vote somebody in, the majority rules. We just got to go about it smart, not hard. You're saying we transfer the properties. Is there a way the village can have a say-so as far as obtaining those properties? Maybe putting some money back with us and selling it? I don't know exactly how it works. Maybe somebody needs to assess those properties and see their value, and then we can talk. But I definitely don't want to say no to the taxpayers that did vote for this to go forward. So that's my take. I yield my time.
Trustee Jenkins Bell. Yeah. Okay. Trustee Jenkins Bell.
I'm very astounded to sit here and hear that Regal Farm is included in the Park District. I think that as a community, we need to be included in these conversations.
Hey.
We do have people that did vote for this Park District. Democracy rules. I am not Donald Trump. I did not agree with the Park District. I fought against it. But when all of these 1,200 people said this is what they wanted, I'm going to respect what they want. So we have to look at the framework of what's going on with this Park District. We have to look and take stock on the corporate authority. That means all of us. That means the trustees, as well as we have to be inclusive with our residents as well, too. So I make a motion that this is tabled, and it goes into a workshop, and then we will discuss all of the buildings that are being included into this Park District. We will discuss the commissioners, how many commissioners that need to be included.
It's not an action item, so we ain't gonna take.
I mean, well, we can't table this, but it needs to be further conversation, a robust conversation about this, because everybody is passionate. They don't want to see their taxes go up. Regal Farm is a historical landmark. What is it going to lose its historical? Is it going to lose that? These are things that need to be questioned. There are other ways to do these things. And yes, we need programming. We do need programming for our children that is viable, not some fly of the night, overnight nonsense. We need something that's going to work and be sustainable. And this is where we're at with the Park District. I yield my time.
Thank you, Trustee. Fulcher, Thompson. Go ahead.
So just getting back to the agenda item, the discussion is for the intergovernmental agreement. This is pretty much putting the cart before the horse, because there are no actual board members. So how are we, the village, getting to any type of agreement with nobody? So I'm not even sure how you all can present this when there is no actual board.
the template.
Parks, what can the Park District do with them, how could they prioritize? So, it was not going to a board meeting in the next week or 2 or 3 or 4. It doesn't, we have to have Exhibit A, and everybody's gonna have to sit down and figure out what that exhibit is.
Which is, go back to the question, there are no board members. So we can't go into the Exhibit A without first establishing who the Park District Board would be. And that's part of what the appointment of the board is supposed to be for. So that's the challenges that we need to reach out to the community to say those that are interested in being appointed to the Park District Board is to fill out the application. The committees and commission put on their park district and let us know as a board who is interested in being a part of that board, that initial board. Then we can talk about the memorandum on this intergovernment agreement, because this is an agreement made by somebody that's not even a part of the board. There is no board. So we shouldn't even be having a conversation until a board is established, because no one can sign this agreement. Even down the line, the next time, this agreement cannot be even solidified because there's no one to actually sign the spot where it says the chairperson, the clerk. There isn't nobody right now. So we shouldn't even be talking about this until we first establish an actual board, which hopefully, like I suggested, those that are interested, because like it was said, the residents voted for it. I'm in support of it because that's what the residents want. But we also got to reach out to those residents who also put out there to say that they wanted it, to have an opportunity to apply to say, I think I'll be a good person to be on the Park District Commission, the trustee, or whatever. So that's where I hope that us as a board is going to do, is to reach out to the community so they can reach out to the entire board and say they're interested, and so we can review it. Once we get a board, then we should be talking about the next steps.
All right.
Because they're the ones that actually decide on what they're asking for, which parks, which different things that they're looking for. So they're the ones should be presenting to us, the board, on this intergovernmental agreement. So we have to put this on hold, not even really talk about it until we establish a board.
Trustee Thompson?
The residents decided they wanted a park district. Me, like some other trustees, was against it because for selfish reasons, because I'm thinking about seniors and people like me who don't need any increased taxes. And but the thing about it is not only is the board not established, where's the park district established? I don't see any documents that says the park district has been established. So where would I find that? That government, that taxing body, that government has not technically been established. Is that true?
You'll get, yep.
So we can't discuss it until we know all the information. You can't have an intelligent discussion without all the information. Okay, thank you.
All right. Yes, sir.
I just would like to set the record straight on some things. Yes, it was voted on for a second time, and it was done in the middle of the dark. We just tabled the check with Trustee Fulcher had our village attorneys working for this park district. See, that's the part that never gets out to the public, but it is right now. I was the trustee that was there when, yes, it was mismanaged of $750,000. And so what did you see? You had it shut down because, number one, the village was operating at a $1.3 to $1.5 million in the red each year. In 2017, May of 2017, when I got in. So we had to shut it down to stop the bleeding. But to my understanding, we're not bleeding no more unless somebody is telling me something different. As far as programs, we sitting up here talking about programs. Yes, the people spoke. The people spoke April 1st. Brooks, Lewis, and Jenkins. And what did they say? They don't want their taxes going up, but they want to see something done for their kids. That's the reason why we give the $6,000 reimbursement to football and baseball and other programs to supplement until we get our act together, which is supposed to be together. We have the money to bring back Park and Rec, repeal and put it back on the books. So when we start talking about the people spoke, I remember when I played the game of hockey, when you was in the playoffs, it was the best of 3 or the best of 5, best of 7. This Park District looks like it may have to go for the best of 3 because they for sure just lost. But then we had our attorneys in the dark of the night helping somebody, and there was trustees that was on the petitions, and they went down to Joliet and got it on the ballot behind the people back. The people been spoke. What happened was you took away their voice, and they went out. They found that, well, maybe if we run it during the month November instead of the April election, maybe we can win this. Or however they did it. If we have to, maybe it need to be a rubber match to win the best of 3. Because right now the residents are hot. And like Trustee Fulcher said, there is no board, and I was outdone when I seen this in the packet. Because once again, the Village of University Park, even if it was, why are we always cutting the checks for stuff? Did anybody, you know what, I wrote it right here. We said, know how it worked. Did anybody read the agreement? I know I read it. Did you read it? You read, did you read it, Trustee Jenkins? Yeah. Trustee, you didn't see it in the agreement? I yield my time.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. We'll do public comments at the end.
1 second, Mayor.
Yes.
The people did speak. There is no facility in this place, in University Park. Our kids play outside. There are a lot of seniors, a lot of people walk outside. We don't have an indoor facility for these kids to go to. You know where they go? They go to Monique, they go to Masson, they go to Richmond Park. They're taking our tax dollars and taking it to another town. It's nothing wrong with us having our own facility to work out in, to have camaraderie among our own community. We need that. We don't have that. We have camaraderie in other people's communities. There's nothing wrong. The people have spoke. They want to see their kids be in town and be 5-6 minutes away to have the sports. There's a lot of people that walk in this community, and we talk about safety. Nobody wants to walk outside after 6, 7, 8 o'clock. What's wrong with having a facility they can walk around in up until 9 until the park is closed, whatever? People have spoke, the 1,213 people, they have asked. The people that I talked to want a facility. It wasn't just 2 people. I mean, I'm just saying, but we need to have a discussion. I get that. Let's talk about what we want in this community with the community. That's right, as we should. As we should. We should have a conversation what we want and what we want to see.
Right.
We talk about the pool down there. That's indoor swimming all year round. When we think about what we want in the facility, we can have a discussion about all of this. If the people spoke, let's give them what they want. It's almost like we saying, no, we don't want that. We just don't go back to outside football, track,
Pay the neighborhood people.
whatever it is. They don't have a facility after October. Where do these kids go?
Well,
I'm just saying, after October,
and
from October to March.
This is the healthy
Where do
discussion
they
we
go?
need to have that
Exactly.
Jenkins was talking about.
Yeah.
This is the healthy discussion
We
we
need
to
to have somewhere indoor
Instead
for
of being
us to go.
surprised with this. But let me say, we did have a town hall, if I'm not mistaken, where we were talking about building a facility. if I'm not mistaken, March before the election, it was sitting on that back wall, big old screen like that, saying, this is the University Park Community Center.
Yeah.
I still been preaching. I don't care how many times. The reason why I keep saying too is we put it on the ballot. Well, no, we didn't do it. They put it on the ballot a second time. Even though they did it, my point is the people put us up here. We can repeal tomorrow, Trustee Lewis, Park and Rec, and let's do, if it was true what the mayor said, we about to have a community center, it was the idea, we about to move from the Flintstones to the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Instead of moving like thieves in the night on a ballot, let's do this. And don't shock the people or mislead
I get
them.
that, but let's have the discussion about a facility with all of us.
I agree with that.
Let's
Park District, that we talking about another taxing body.
That's part of the Park District, the facility.
Yeah.
There's
No.
a lot of, yeah.
Did you read what that was in there?
Yeah.
I yield my time.
All right. Well, thank you. I want to, before we close this out, I would really just like to inform the residents of the real facts. Yes, I ran the referendum the first time because I'm listening to the people and I look at it. I'm a numbers guy and I do statistics. So when I look at statistics and I look at the Matheson Rec Center and I see 35% of our senior citizens are there on Mondays and Wednesdays. I look at the Hazel Crest and Country Club Hills Park Districts, another 27% of our seniors there on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Then some of the same people who advocate not to have a park district, their children are enrolled in Creeks Park District and in other park districts. Most people middle age have some kind of health club membership or some kind of physical activities opportunity. So the thing that it failed the first time, because we always have people who undercut the leadership of the government by misleading people and telling people that the mayor is going to out-tax you out your home. This is going to cost $800 a year more. So there was misinformation out there. It was deceptive practices. And people don't think about this. The mayor lives here, and the mayor has a variety of properties here. So I'm not going to do anything to increase my property taxes. But I will like to have something that I'm paying for to actually receive. So the second time around, we did the referendum. No such thing as a thief in the night because it was at the presidential election. But what I did differently this time, I actually educated the residents and gave them the real information that will cost no more than $8 or $9 a month, less than $100 a year. Most people pay that in annual memberships. So it really makes a lot of sense in the business perspective. What happens in our community as people get attached to personal items, Regal Farm, it's mine, it belongs to me. I've been here 50 years. Craig Park and all these other things becomes personal properties. Most communities are glad to have a park district because it provides not just social and recreational programming for the constituents, but it alleviates the heavy burden off of the main municipalities, off of our public works department. Because that case, it eases our insurance bill because the park district will assume the insurance on all the properties. It eases our maintenance bill because we're already short-staffed. We're already short-staffed. We're already short-staffed on public works department. So public works won't be stretched as thin to have to do those properties as well because they'll have their own maintenance people. It's just a win-win situation for everybody. But sometimes you have to do things outside the box because all we go back is what we used to do. And those things just don't work anymore. Most people in this room, like I did, I came from Chicago, most people participated in a park district. Most people paid property taxes and get something for their property taxes. For once, here's a unique opportunity to do something different, to prepare for the future, and actually get something that you're paying for. And I'll just use an example as another taxing body, because people talk about taxes. If someone would really take the time and educate the constituents, there's no property tax increase from anywhere. What is actually happening is the EAV is increasing in the community, and the properties that were once $150,000 are valued at $200,000 So naturally, you will not be paying the same property tax for a $200,000 property as opposed to a $150,000 property. I would think that most people would want to have value in their properties instead of being upside down. This is an investment in the future. So people have their opinions and comments. I've been here longer than anybody on this board. I'm the biggest taxpayer on this board. So it's hard for someone to say that it's going to raise up the property taxes. And I'm close to being a very soon to be senior citizen. So I'm concerned about the property taxes, but no one ever discusses the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is 201U, which bears almost 70% of the taxing bodies. They're building a huge new athletic facility. No one's complaining about that. No one's complaining about the library when less than 10% of our residents use the library. I would guarantee you that 90% of every resident will utilize the services of the Park District. 90% of the residents will be glad to have their own municipal facility in their community. And in reality, as Mr. Tebet said earlier, when you build a facility like that, it becomes a destination for people, not just in University Park, for other people, just like we go to Matson, how we go to Crete, how we go to Country Club Hills, how we go to other things. But most, and then the $190, most governmental bodies not going to trip about pull these checks because it's a part of the process. Where that young man used to work at had a park district. Park districts govern their own thing, and it's a really, really good thing. We have to get away from the crab in the barrel syndrome because it's really hurting the growth and prosperity of our community. And just everybody's afraid to do something different. It's like me. If all I could talk about is what I used to do, I shouldn't be here because it's not what I used to do that got me here. It's what we're going to do moving forward that counts to the residents of this community. So those are my statements for tonight. And so you want to say something next? All right. So, and for Trustee Fulcher, no one but a handful of people are asking me, Mayor, what's going on with the Park District? To be honest with you, they have the most sensible mayor in here for a long time. And I'll tell you what the problem is. Because if people really look at the preposition that was proposed for the legal things, they're upset because the mayor makes the appointments to the Park District. That's what the whole problem is. That's what I hear. Let me talk because I'm not going to interrupt. That's what I hear because there's not, and they constantly go back. Park and recreation. Park and recreation has failed. And there's no sense to keep on turning back the hands of time. There's no progress driving in the rearview mirror. So I'm just putting it out like that. And I hear all the same old people saying the same old things because what's going on currently now is that, say, for instance, one of the trustees wants to run a program. It's okay with that, but the trustees weren't elected to run programs. The trustees weren't elected to run baseball, football, basketball. The simple thing that the elected officials are elected to do is to pass legislation, policies, and ordinances. It's a simple thing. We have ordinances on our books that go back to 1973, 1967, 1980, which none of my legislators but a handful say, listen, we really need to upgrade this because we're punishing our residents because we have them living in caveman ordinances and laws and no one's doing the homework. We're busy talking about committees and commissions and doing this and doing that, but the real world is out there, and this is what the people have asked for. Is that what the problem is? And for people to say that there has not been a board assembled or anything like that, ask the question. Don't always throw the arrow and take an assumption, because when you assume, it's an old saying, but I won't repeat, but those who are a little bit 50 and over probably have heard the saying. So this is a template. I'm really glad to have a workshop, and I'll bring the commissioners that will be appointed. No problem whatsoever. So people should only talk about what they really know, and they shouldn't speak about what they don't know. And to undercut, try something new. Get out the box, get out the community. You're holding the whole community hostage that has growth and development and prosperity written all around it. And what the America likes to see, some America, is that a divided board will let someone else come in here, run their agenda, and before you know it, most of us who are here that call this home will be displaced, economic empowerment when we come all over here, and we won't have any say-so because the opportunity is right now for the village to move forward. Step outside the box. And I tell you one thing before I give it to Trustee Jenkins. Those who don't trust are non-trustworthy. Thank you for my comments. Trustee Jenkins, go right ahead.
That was a lot. It was a lot. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I have to. Okay. This is a democracy. This is not Europe. This is not King. This is not Queen Elizabeth. This is not King Charles. We are working together to see this village move forward. We are working together because, believe it or not, I've been back on, this is my second meeting. I think this is my second meeting. I have sat down with developers. I have sat down with a lot of different people. And University Park is on the brink of blowing up. Do you understand? We are going to be okay. But timing is everything. Timing is everything. You do things the way you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. We all are passionate about our community. We all love it. We wouldn't be out here tonight if we didn't love it and we weren't passionate. But we have to get along. And this park district, yes, the people spoke. And yes, we're going to respect their vote. That's called democracy. That's what we have to do. But we have to have the tough conversation on who are we going to allow to control this park district, which is going to control our daily lives, our quality of life. We are doing this not for ourselves personally. We're doing this for the generations to come. That's what we're doing this for. We're not doing it for me. I'm halfway there. I got more years behind me than ahead of me. We're doing it for my grandchildren, my grandchildren's children. We want our children to have things, but we cannot do this with a dictatorship. That's why I'm saying that it has to be a robust conversation. Yes, we're going to have appointed people on this park district, but is it people that we're going to trust? Is it people that we know? Is it people that we want to know or we want to be over a park district, which can change people's lives if their tax goes up with this park district? These are things that we have to look at. We are not to be pointing fingers at each other. We are not to be blaming each other. We have to work together. I'm for working together. Regal Farm is my baby. $625,000. I walked very hard to get that money. I worked very, very hard to get it from Senator Joyce, alone with no help. Let the truth be told and stop me when I'm lying. So when I did that, I did it because I love my community, and I was elated that he gave it to us. And I'm elated that it's being fixed up and things are going good for Regal Farm. And if that is one of the things that we have to do with the park district, we have to make sure that it's done correctly, it's done right. The residents have some insight on it. They have some input on it. We have to have inclusivity now. We cannot continuously do what we're doing and dividing. We're divided. A house divided within itself will never stand. It'll never stand. So we have to get ourselves together to where we come together and make these hard decisions, be supportive of each other, and yes, our mayor, because things are coming. And I know that he's worked extremely hard to get these things to come. Our village manager, retail guy comes in. We're at the brink of moving the village forward so quickly that we're not going to know what it is in 15 years. We're going to look back and say, wow, this is what's going on here in University Park. So we have to make sure that we make sound decisions when it comes to our taxpayers, because we're not trying to tax them out their houses. And yes, it went to referendum twice, which I didn't understand, but it did. They voted for it, and I'm going to respect the vote. That's it. That's all. The park and recreation, it didn't work.
It did not work. And if you have any type of eyeballs and you saw Regal Farm prior to this upgrade, we know it didn't work. We saw it didn't work. And that farm was facing people's homes and bringing down the value of their homes. And so we are in a process of where we're moving forward. We're getting things done, and we have to do it together. That's where I'm at. I'm not on sides. Let that be clear. I'm on the side of the village residents of University Park. That's whose side I'm on. And making sure that you guys get everything you justly deserve and all the things that you need and a lot of the things that you desire. And that means that we're going to sit down as a board, workshop this out with our community, and make sure that we make the right decisions when it comes to the commissioners on the park district and when it comes to the park district in itself. I yield my time.
Oh, my goodness. All right, let's go, guys. Trustee Thompson was first.
Okay, mine is real short, Mayor. First of all, don't try to, I don't want to argue. That's first. Don't try to lump the library in, because we do what we're supposed to do. And we offer a lot of services to this community, and people do use the library. Second of all, I think we all really sort of agree. It's just a different perspective and maybe the way we're talking about it. You said it's your decision. It's not just your decision. It's our decision collectively, and I think it's reasonable just to ask to discuss it.
That's fine.
The people voted, and we have to respect that, but you also have to respect your board too, and not just make the decision on your own. We might have good ideas. We might.
Don't doubt it at all.
Okay, so let's don't argue.
I'm going to set this workshop up. We need to get going.
Let's don't argue. Let's cooperatively discuss it.
Thank you. Trustee Fulcher?
Yeah, I just wanted to just speak a little bit about as for taxes. Yes, our taxes are going to go up. Just like what the mayor just said, he said they would not go up. They will go up, because he said that now the village won't have to pay for the landscaping. The village won't have to pay for all these different things. But the residents are still going to have to pay for it, okay? Because they're going to be a whole separate taxing district. So they will have their own public works, and who do you think is going to have to fund that? The residents is going to have to fund that. They're going to have their own attorneys. Who's going to have to fund that? The residents. They're going to have their own insurance. Who's going to fund that? The residents. So yes, the residents is helping the village with our taxes. That's one taxing body. But we're going to have a whole brand new one that we're going to have to pay for all the same services that we have here with the village. So yes, your taxes will go up, because you're going to have to pay, as residents, you're going to have to pay for all of those services that is needed for the park districts, which include all the administrative. Anybody that works there, anything, we're going to have to pay. So the residents will have our taxes increase, because we are the ones that's going to have to pay. That's the only way that they're getting their money, is through the tax revenue, the levy that was coming in, which is $800,000 for next year. But that's just to get it started. Everything else is going to have to come from the residents, who is another taxing body. The park district is another taxing body. Just like we have to pay for the library, with school board, everything else, they're going to be separate, and we're going to have to pay for every last one of those services under the park district. Again, this village, right now, the ordinance states that the entire board has the right for appointments for committees and commissions. The entire board. That is the current ordinance. Although that is continuing to get put on the agenda to change it back, but this is what it is as of right now. As for the Illinois state statute, when it comes to the park district, Illinois state statute 70 ILCS 1205 2-118, it states that, let me go through it. A single county, the presiding officer of the county board with the advice and consent of the entire board. Well, it's basically the entire board. I got to go to the right spot. I'm sorry, but that is, hold on. But that's the state statute. I was trying to pull it up real fast, how everybody was talking. I don't have the exact one at the exact spot, but it says that any appointment that is being done has to be done with the approval of the entire board. And right now, our ordinance states that the appointments of committees and commissions is based off of the selection of the entire board. And then once the entire board appoints that particular person or selects that person, the entire board then votes to accept them in. That is the current ordinance that we have. So those two, I just wanted to make sure I bring out that yes, our taxes will go up because we will have to fund every single thing for the park district. And then secondly, the ordinance, current ordinance that we have as of right now gives the entire board the right for appointments to committees and commissions. And once whoever does that selection or selects those people, the entire board has to then vote to accept those appointments. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Trustee. Trustee Jenkins, just for the record, this isn't a committee or commission. This is the last one on the park. Just let's move on. Go ahead, so Trustee Jenkins.
This is to the attorney. My question is, with the ordinance, does that ordinance that Trustee Fulcher just read, does that apply to the park district because it is a separate taxing body? Or does it apply to this, you know, because you can't intersect them if I'm correct?
Well, if we're talking about taxes overall, the park district will have their own tax levy. Okay?
But with the appointments,
But they don't receive any other sales tax. They don't receive any other taxes. Their main source of income is a tax levy, and then they have charges for programs. Now, I believe that the basis of what the park district levies is going to be will not have to be levied by you, because right now the village has to pay insurance on the property, has to maintain the property, has to do this and that can come out of your budget. So it's not it's not just to add on. It's a question of you being able to subtract that. We're going to get somewhere level. Okay.
My question was, does the ordinance that just Trustee Fulcher just read, does that apply, would that allow the mayor to appoint, he will be able to still appoint without that ordinance because it's a separate taxing body? So he would still be able to appoint who he wants to appoint to the park district board.
The park commissioners are elected.
They're
So yes, they elected. They're in the same cycle as village trustees. They're elected every 2 years, or every 2 years. It's a revolving board. Most of the time, there's 6 trustees, and they all 6-year terms, and 3 run every other year. But that's the usual setup for a park district. So there's continuity there. There's continuity.
All right, well, thank you so much, Mr. Kankar.
Okay.
You'll be invited to the round table workshop because it should be very interesting.
Right.
And thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
You're quite welcome. Thank you, guys. So I got a question for the board. For items 51C, 51D, 51E, yes, Madam Clerk. Oh, no, we're going to do a workshop. It wasn't even ready. It was just the template to start the conversation. So that's good, Madam Clerk. We're good there. So the items, board, you guys hear me, from 51C to 51I can be combined as one, basically. It's all one project. So I would just ask if you guys can just, one more amendment, move that up and let these guys go ahead, because it can just take out the majority of the agenda items and we'll be pretty much good to go. Then it'll be only 2 other items left which would be the EV charging stations and the trend for ambulatory reporting.
Sure.
All right.
Yes.
Is that good? Okay. So here we go. Item 51C, 51D, 51E, 51F, 51G, 51H, and 51I. Guys, you can come on up and give them information on that. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Jim Griffin and Matt Walsh here on behalf of Woodhill Solar. We've been here a few times, so we're not going to go through the whole presentation, but what's before you on your agenda for discussion is the draft annexation and development agreement and the several ordinances that go along with that agreement. Those have all been prepared by John Murphy for your review, and so we're happy to answer any questions you might have about those.
Mayor, maybe,
Yes, go ahead, Trustee Thompson.
okay, this says R1 zoning. Is that residential? R1?
Correct, R1.
You didn't tell us that before. R1 is residential. That means we're going to give you this giant piece of land for 40 years, then maybe we could be building houses that we need. We need rooftops here. So, does anybody else know that? I didn't know that. I didn't know it was residential. I thought it was agricultural.
There is no agricultural zoning district in the village. Our R1 is what your agricultural land is on.
We do have agricultural. That was agricultural.
He's behind the trailer park, I thought he was talking about. Behind the trailer, where American Lot used to be. So
I love
that's
the
nothing but
idea of
trucks
the
and
solar.
land.
I love that, but I don't know if I can, I don't know if I agree with tying up that much land that could potentially be residential, maybe in 20 years.
So Trustee Thompson, just for the record, currently that land that land doesn't exist in University Park right now. That's the that's the win-win. So now what this has the opportunity to do with the solar farm.
I'm sorry, can you make it?
Okay, I just want to tell you, because I want to make sure we're on the same page with everybody. If I'm not mistaken, the solar farm will have the opportunity to provide energy to maybe about 4,000 homes in the area. So it's a great benefit for us to reduce energy costs. But at the end of the day, after this agreement is over with, the land belongs to University Park. Everything will be taken back. The earth will remain just as it is, and it will still be in University Park then. So the next generation would have an opportunity, and the boundaries of our community have expanded. So I'll let you go ahead and finish with you guys. That's.
Thing was, I understood everything you just said because they gave the presentation twice. So all I'm saying is, do we need to consider the potential for building houses, but we're gonna annex the land, and then we're gonna give up all this land for solar panels, and perhaps in the future, near future, we could build houses there. And I'm just asking for that to be considered by the board.
I agree, because I did not see that it was residential land, and so that was one of the things that I would like to see from our code enforcement. Like, how much land do we have left within the inner skirts of University Park that is considered residential? Because we don't want to give away all of our potential land that's coded for residential, where houses can be. I'm not sure how much we do have, but can we get that information? I think that's something that I would be interested in knowing, as for how much land we have now that's available for residential, because that is part of what the growth that we're all talking about, is to have more rooftops and more houses. So how much do we actually have available that we can actually do that? I'm not sure. I have not seen that information.
Did he have
Do you all?
Does he have a map of where? Because I thought it was
Well,
directly
right, I know-
behind that trailer park.
Right, I know
And
that
I know
area.
back there wasn't land for housing. That land was
No,
occupying
it
those
is,
trucks.
but it's
I'm
co-
just saying,
But it's coded for residential. That's what I'm saying. It's coded for residential.
that's true, but
So
that's
I just
not
don't
the
know how,
build houses on.
it is, that's why it's coded for
It's not
residential.
the only place that we can build homes on.
I didn't say it was the only place. I just said I would like to know what are the other
Right.
areas that we have here in the village that we can
I
build
get it.
houses because
I get it.
I don't
I
know
get it.
which ones.
I get it.
Yeah, I don't know which other areas. I don't want to give away. That's a lot of land. If we annex it in and it's residential, and if we don't have much land left to build any houses, then that limits, that stunts the growth that we have for potential houses. That's all. That's my question, and I don't know that information.
So if I heard you guys right, since we don't actually have agricultural zoning, R1 is a representative is basically substituted for agriculture.
Correct.
That's
That's
right.
your least intensive zoning district.
Thank you.
No, it could be used for residential, but solar farms are usually done in agriculture and industrial zoning areas.
In
And
this
then
case,
you
it's
have to
rural.
use a special use, ask for a special use in order to put it into the residential. I understand the whole process. I understand your presentation. I do know, but as for stating, as for residential, I just noticed that it was zoned for residential. I just wanted to know what area, and it has nothing to do with you all. This is a question more to the village, as to say, what additional land that we have available that's zoned for residential here at University Park. So I want to make sure that there's nothing, I don't want to make sure that everything is all gone. That's all.
Okay. So
Like
let me just,
cityscape area is still,
let me just,
Just like a lot of different,
Right.
like stuff like that. I
Right.
just want to
It's
know the
still there.
areas because that's a big piece of land.
that was the area that we were looking at from Governor State for future housing was over there. Cityscape,
and the TOD study.
right.
Right, I haven't.
I know, I get what you're saying.
I
I'm
haven't
just
seen the
saying,
information.
we do have other places that
Yeah.
were offering land for
So if you all could
Stop.
provide, if you could provide me that information, that'd be good,
And-
so I
and-
can at least have
And
it.
just for the record, the R represents rural, not residential.
Huh? No, the R represents residential,
Rural.
residential. R1, R-1.
Okay. All right. We're not gonna go over that. We're gonna go.
I
debate.
just looked it up, that's what it
Okay.
is.
All right.
So R1, R-1 is residential.
All right.
And we did have agriculture here, because a lot of land, we have switched over from agricultural to industrial, which over there on Cicero, that has happened. So that was my question is, can we get that information? That has nothing to do with you all. It's just here, I just like to know for myself, the other locations for residential. That's it.
And I will point out that the landowner whose property we're building it on owns approximately 300 acres. We're only using 100 acres.
Right.
So there's still going to be another 200 acres for future development for residential or any other use. So even on this parcel itself, we're only using a third of it.
Okay, so that sounds good.
Trustee Brooks.
Yeah, actually, you had just answered the question that I was going to ask you, how many acres you actually were going to use, and actually, we get a lot of stuff thrown at us, so I was trying to get a map in my head. I know you're going to be right behind the facilities, but I was trying to figure out how would it be mapped out. I don't remember. Did you all give us a map how it would look? They did. Okay.
They did twice. We got a whole packet.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got a packet.
Right. We always get in the packet. But I did see, I don't know if you've seen it, Gina, someone's back there clearing land back there already.
Box.
Morningside,
Yeah.
and I did send the information to Ms. Scott, I
Scott.
believe, and to the mayor to let them know that is taking place. That is a concern because we don't know if they have a permit or what, but they're back there clearing the land on Morningside.
Yeah.
Right.
That's that unincorporated area, if I'm not mistaken. It's unincorporated, that area that he's claiming. That's the private landowner that's claiming his land, so it's not even in the village.
Okay.
Go ahead, Brooks. Ooh, I want to go home. It's my anniversary, and I'm stuck in the meeting. Oh, well, thank you. That made it all worthwhile.
Happy anniversary, man.
Is that land south south of where they would be building, is that University Park too or unincorporated?
Unincorporated. It's unincorporated.
Right, I get it. I'm looking at it. The reason why I was saying just respecting her trustee Fulcher's concern, if we do, like Sonia said, I do believe that at some point we're going to start building again when it comes to homes.
We need homes. Absolutely.
We want to make sure that, but I'm okay with it.
Trustee?
I'm okay.
I yield my time.
Gina? Trustee what?
As long as it's been cleared and the plan commission, everybody has done the right publications, all it's supposed to be done. They presented before and now they're back again. I'm okay with it.
We're back just to answer the questions in case anybody had any other questions. And I'm glad that you guys came back. And thank you so much. All right. Yeah, you look site sheet, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
like I said, that had nothing to do with them. That's just something here, just to see what other parts of land that we actually have.
All right. We're good to go? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mayor.
Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Pleasure. Moving forward. Let's move it forward. All right. All right, we're going with this. Good? All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Item 51B, which is a letter of intent for Revere Consulting for the installation of EV charging stations throughout the CG grant.
So I wanted to put a little context before Derek Smith comes up. He is a representative from Revere Consulting, which came here last year to present. We're fortunate to have them here again. I want to say, first of all, that Revere is very highly respected throughout the country. They're the largest minority installation company in the United States. They have an exclusive contract with ComEd to do charging stations throughout the Midwest. So this is a grant that I applied for last year. It's a CEJA grant, which is an acronym for the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. It is an Illinois law that was focused on phasing out carbon emissions. A lot of the federal grants are drying up because the current federal administration doesn't support or believe in reduction of carbon emissions or anything of this sort. So this, fortunately for us, was a state grant that we were awarded. I brought him here. This is Sourcewell pricing. I wanted to add that. So the grant that we were awarded was for $260,000. There's 3 different locations, and I have mentioned this in my board reports previously. One of the locations is the Metro East lot. The other location is the Metro West lot. And the third location is the University Park Golf Club. There will be a faster charging station installed at the golf course for obvious reasons. People aren't going to be there as long as they would at the Metro lot when they park their cars. So there's going to be 5 ports, I believe, 2 chargers for each port, for each location. This is a reimbursement grant. I did speak with Jack from the state through CEJA recently, and he told me that it takes about 30 to 60 days to get the reimbursement. I want to get the ball rolling on this and get this done before the end of the year because there is a ComEd grant. We have a small match, but with the tax incentive and the rebate, we pretty much not have to pay for this. So this is a great opportunity. We would actually pay nothing. So but however, I believe that the ComEd grant, and I think the tax incentive is drying up after this year, if I'm correct. Something's drying up, I remember. So we want to get this going, but I have Derek Smith here, and Derek, you can take it on.
So yeah, she mentioned pretty much everything that matters. The good thing about this opportunity is that to the village, you're looking at a 25% cost. So from the total cost of $734,000, the village, at the end of the day, the village has to come up with 25% of that. So with the 2 grants from ComEd and from CEJA, that allows a lot of the subsidy to be already provided for. And with that being said, you have, again, 2 you have a total of 12 ports, 5 for one lot, 5 for the other lot, and 2 fast chargers for the golf course. So that provides an opportunity for people who are starting to as we see more and more EV cars out there, like more and more transition, we see an opportunity to become a location for people who are hopefully running out of energy on the freeway up and down. So there's locations for people to stop by, creating a recurrent and residual funding to the village as well. So this is a prime opportunity. And as Liz said, that we do also have the opportunity to do this before 2026, because moving in 2026, the percentage to you increases. So you have to provide more than 25% if we move this over into 2026.
Questions, anyone?
Very simple. We have, well, 25% of the 750, we have it, right?
Yes, we do.
And will this also kind of complete the, or for those who don't know, that incentive for the EV project you've been working on, this kind of adds to the work at University Park moving forward and being the most EV of most municipalities.
Yes, this all goes hand in hand with the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus. When we did apply for that distinction, we got it, as well as the fire department going for training, us updating our codes, and the zoning for the chargers. Also, this will be a revenue generating facility, all three of these. And the rebates are for each location. So there's 3 rebates in total. There are some caveats, it's small details, striping, ADA accessibility. I think there has to be at least one ADA accessible per the CEJA grant. And we also have to have reserved spaces for ADA as a result of this. So it's a good thing. And I'm looking forward to it. It will attract, hopefully, I'm hopeful, because when I look at surrounding Metro stops, they don't have charging stations. So this is going to be an incentive to draw people to the park as well as the golf course. And with the reimbursement, it is very little money. I can't remember the exact amount, but I want to say it was around 50,000 that we would have to come up with, 50 something that we would have to come up with out of pocket.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say for the general public that these are one of those small things that we do accomplish here as a village board that gets very little, how you say, noise. We always seem to get the negative, but it's probably one of the only meetings or one of the only functions that I think we all were somewhere together for the first time, and it was pretty good, and there was no arguing and choking. There a lot of laughs. Yeah, yeah.
And lots of Brooks eating sweet potato pie.
Yeah, yeah. Don't tell Karen.
I won't.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Thanks. So, I'm all for it, and it's just for residents. And when you start seeing little things like this, trust me, these are the things that, and trust me, where we were, the accolades we got being up there, it was, everyone was like, what, University Park? And so, thank you, Manager Scott, because I know you're passionate about it.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. We're going to go forward. All right. We've got 2 more items. I thought it was only one, was the back page. And Chief, this is you. This is an item, an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of University Park and Image Trend for ambulatory reporting.
Good evening, Mayor, Trustees. Currently, our current software for our ambulance and our fire reporting is going to be becoming obsolete come December 31st. So we were tasked with getting a new software. The local departments around here that team up with Laraway are all going together and going with Image Trend. They are the cheapest option, and what I'm looking for is a 5-year contract to save the village some money. They have annual increases, and the 5-year contract is the least amount, and it's at 3%. If we do a year by year, it is 7%. If we go to a 3-year contract, it is 5% of an increase. Along with this are startup fees. The Lairway Radio Group is going to refund us $3,312. So we'll have some money coming back on getting started.
It would replace the current CAD system, right? That we're using, or
It's not the CAD system, it's our actual EMS reporting.
oh,
And the CAD auto feeds into the reporting software.
okay. And this is probably just so that other trustees will know, because very familiar with it. This is pretty much one of those things that we definitely have to have. Am I correct, Chief? Yeah. So, sometimes we're a little bit behind. Yeah, we're a little bit behind on some of the things that we're supposed to have, and this is definitely one of them. So, thank you, Chief, and what you're doing.
All right, thank you so much, Chief.
I had a quick question. So since you said the surrounding communities as well are going to be using image trend, is that a way where you all can communicate with one another some type of way?
Yes, so part of the package is called Continuum, and we can pull reports from Crete, Monique, Crete Township Fire Protection District. South Chicago Heights is another one. So we're going to be all able to communicate within the software to each other and then get the information that we need.
All right. Brooke, your mic on. You got anything? No.
I'll say it. I was going to say, but yeah, I'll leave it there.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We're moving forward. Thank you. We're always going to provide services for the residents. And our last item is to discuss acceptance of the bid opening results for Black Hawk North resurfacing project. Questions, anyone? Yes, sir.
I've seen the signs on the trees. Is that for the Sandra repair when I on the way to the board meeting?
It's a combination of both. Yes.
So this bid, okay. I see Ms. Scott ready. Go ahead, Ms. Scott. You probably already know what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
No, so this is actually next to it, adjacent to it. So the Sandra Drive storm construction was the issue with that sinking. That is separate in itself. We did put that notice up just to notify, the residents of what's going on, and subsequent letters going out to let people know that construction will begin on the 16th. This is for the area right next to it, for that area that's dipping. Because of the situation, so with the Rebuild Illinois that we applied for, that money for the storm system I had put aside. Now that I was able to relocate, thank you for approving from that grant that I applied for, we're able now to free up that money, this money that I had put aside to pay for. Now that we can use the Rebuild Illinois for that, I can move forward to pay for this. This is going to come straight out of the village's pocket. We're able to pay for it. We have the money because, like I said, I put aside $800,000 to fix the Sandra Drive storm sewer. But now that we're able to use the Rebuild Illinois because the board approved that, now I can reallocate that money and put with the additional couple hundred to a little under $300,000 that we'll need to complete this. So we're good.
Will this would be more of the traffic notification. Is that would the construction company put that down, or would it be DPW?
So
like rerouting and all that.
For rerouting, we have notified PACE already. And we will be working with, I've already had conversation with Chris Vargas about rerouting the traffic, and we've already been in connection with PACE. So we're ready.
Okay, can we get something that at least it can sit out there, or something with, how when you're on a highway and it says construction begins, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, we can absolutely do that.
Because I can't, although it's still a week out, and I noticed the signs. I just, when residents say it's not enough, let's give them enough. Let's if we can put something out there to say.
We'll put something together.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're speaking of.
Yeah, so if we can just do that. Other than that, I'm just glad that it finally come through.
So in addition to that, maybe like residents that live like right there, can they park in Craig Park parking lot if they don't have, like.
That definitely is not an issue, especially because we don't have anything going on there. The police, everyone's aware of the construction, everything going on, and that's definitely not an issue because we need to accommodate them.
Because I don't, those people that live right there on the corner, I don't know where they.
Yeah, they'll have to park temporarily at Craig Park.
Because they can't get up. I have. So for this project, the one that we're looking at now, do we have a project manager? Somebody from Antero?
Yes, Antero is going to be project managing this.
Did they have any? I know these are the bids, but did they have any recommendations? Looking at the spreadsheet, like I don't know what the bituminous material is. I don't know what that is. So, like the project manager would know. So,
right.
Do they have a recommendation?
Yes, and the recommendation is for Iroquois. And Iroquois, they are doing the project management. Antero is to make sure that everything is done as specified. And Antero does have all of those details, and I have had meetings with them regarding that.
Iroquois is not on the spread.
Yes, this was awarded to Iroquois, and that's what it says. Presented for discussion and your consideration is a recommendation letter from Antero.
Because it doesn't have the breakdown like this one for Iroquois.
So that it has each, it has it on there, but I'll get that to you if you want the detailed breakdown.
Because it's the lowest one, and so I don't always believe in going with the lowest one. I believe in going with the best one because we don't want to revisit it ever again.
Yes, and Iroquois did do the initial phase of Abbott and Amherst, and they did a great job.
On Abbott and Amherst?
Yes.
What?
Iroquois did that. Yes.
Okay.
Very, very reputable
Watch
company.
your mouth.
So I just wanted to, for this is from Black Hawk Drive from University Parkway to Hickok. When would they start the process? Once we approve the bid, if next board meeting, whatever, if we approve it, when would they start? What is the time frame?
Together now that you've accepted the recommendation.
So they haven't set a timeline?
No, tomorrow we're going to discuss all that. We have a meeting tomorrow in anticipation that I know that the village and the constituents are eager to get streets done.
I have one more, Mayor. I just saw that when she said that to Hickok. Okay, so drove down Burnham and it's patched. But that wouldn't be more important?
It's coming. Streets have never been paved here, so it's coming.
The previous administration, they will never pay.
They were going to do 4-inch milling and paving of the asphalt surface from University Parkway to Hickok. That's not going. That dip is about 6, 7, 6 feet. I don't know. It's like a roller coaster. So what about that part?
I'll address that. I'll get you all the specs for it.
The roller coaster.
Yeah.
Ms. Scott, I just have one concern.
Yes.
I want to say it was 2018 when Manager Pate was in charge. We were able to scramble. I forgot what he did, but he was able to get some form of grant to try to save that corner, the 4 corners, the dip everyone keeps hitting. I'm looking here, and when he did it, he did warn us that major work was going to be needed because I don't know if it dealt with Aqua or whatever, but he told the board that what was done was a temporary fix, and as you can see, it's dipping again. But as I look at this, I see that they're going a 4-inch mill. The question comes in is about the 4 corners. That's what am I missing it on it? Anybody? It's more of an awkward issue. I don't know what money he found to try to help us because it was very bad in 2017. He got it, fixed it, it lifted. As we all remember, it lifted, but then it fell back in because there's some type of problem under there, whether it's a sewer, I don't know what it is, but the whole that 2017-19 board, we just did what we had to do because we didn't have any money. But I'm not seeing anything here in reference to those four corners. And I know we're going to do this, and it's great. But unless it's something we need to know about that bottom, there's something wrong with that engineering underneath.
I'll follow up. And I do understand from just kind of asking questions and doing a little research that Aqua has been there several times to do whatever they are doing on their end, and that also may have weakened that. But I'll follow up.
Yeah, I just don't want us to get something new, and then we look up, and then we got to do it again because it totally collapsed. Like it did further down towards Right Road.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was a serious consideration because that's why they're going, instead of the 2-inch mill, they're going to 4-inch mill to ensure underneath that it doesn't have that.
That it does sit up. Yeah.
But I'll confirm that.
You'll confirm it, Manager Scott? Okay. Yeah, if so, because the thing about it was that it was the uniqueness of the way the pipes cross underneath before it goes all the way up towards Right Road. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we good? All right, moving forward, Madam Clerk. All right, here we are. Our public comments. We're going to go with Miss Patricia Calloway.
Hi. My concern is this. Everything the board has talked about tonight is very, very great. I understand. But if you do not fix this water in University Park, you will not have any residents here to govern. This water situation is ridiculous. It's breaking people out. They're scaly. And you say don't give it to infants. What about the adults? What about the seniors? Come on, y'all. Do something about this water. We got to drink it to live. We got to bathe. And if you bathe in it, you itch. Next time I come, I'll bring pictures. This is ridiculous. And if it was warm outside, I'd show you my body. Now, if you actually, truly care about the residents in University Park, do something about this water.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You keeping up with? Just for the record, we got 3 minutes for public comments. Ms. Robin Walker. Callaway Walker. Before you start, Ms. Walker, I've got 2 different sign-in sheets. So I'll figure it out as we get there. All right. Ms. Mary, are you on the public comment as well? No? Okay. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Walker. I'm sorry.
Hey, yeah, she just said what I was gonna say. I didn't understand why we talking about solar energy, all of that stuff when the water is messed up. It seemed like the priorities are kind of off to me and all of us over here. But aside from that, I do want to thank Village Manager Scott for all of the stuff she's been doing and working. I see you doing a good job. And I want to commend all of you all, actually, because I see that everybody is opening up their stuff, they're reading, and that I got a better outlook on the board now, so I'm happy about that. And each one of you all were right when you were talking about, I've been studying about the Park District and all of that and doing the whole full research, and I do have all of the facts and everything needed. And so, like, each of you have a piece of it, but not the full. So it's like all of you all were right on each comment that you made. You were right. But then it's some stuff that you're actually missing. So the workshop will be perfect because it's a lot of stuff. Like, the connection is not being made, and it's a lot that goes into it. But think you all are on the right track, but it does have to be workshopped, and I do have some input. And also, I was one of the first ones that tried to be on that commission, so I'm throwing it out there now. Robin Walker wants to be a commissioner, and I did. Actually, it was a group of us that actually went to the court and filed to be on the commissioner. So there is a list of people that actually did try to do that back in December when they got voted on. So we do have that list as well. Okay, all right, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. I'm so glad to be standing in front of you when the Nickersons were here, the you know what I'm trying to say. And he mentioned the twins that they gave a full scholarship. And they're here tonight, and they should be introduced to our community. And the trustees will handle that. I'm so excited about it because these are my neighbors. And we're talking about an outstanding single mother who has poured into her twin daughters, Ayana and Anaya. I turn it over to the trustees.
I was gonna, I do want to speak on it. I was gonna wait to the public comments, but since since Star Lawson did mention it, I wanted to bring up Ayana King and Anaya King. If you could come up to the podium, please. I just wanted to read a couple things about you all. Anaya and Ayana, where they at? She left. Okay, I just wanted to, because we were talking about honoring the scholars and how well they're doing great. Last meeting, I wanted to make sure we was able to acknowledge you all as well, because you all have received the full scholarships from the Nickersons. And so they are Creekmont High School students. Ayana King is a 2025 graduate heading to UIC this fall to major in biological sciences on the pre-med track. With a passion for medicine and helping the people, she plans to become an oncologist, hoping she can represent and uplift others through compassion and care. Ayana has done many works for her school's performing arts community, earning her several leadership positions and a spot in the prestigious ILMBA All-State Chorus. She scored in the 99th percentile on the SAT at her school, remained an honor roll all 4 years, graduated cum laude, took many rigorous AP courses, and spent her senior year completing college courses at Prairie State College. And then Anaya King is from University Park and a 2025 graduate who will be attending the University of Illinois in Chicago this fall, majoring in biochemistry. She graduated summa cum laude, passed 8 AP exams, and completed college coursework at Prairie State College. While still in high school, Anaya served as a commander of her school's drone team and earned several math competition awards and completed extensive community service, including food drives, park cleanups, and singing for the elderly. Her goal is to become a neurosurgeon, and she's driven by the belief that with hard work and faith, she can accomplish anything she sets her mind to. So I just wanted to give these two young ladies a hand to acknowledge them. Because it's not just like with the Nicholsons, they was from Creekmont New High School, and they're giving back to their community. So we're looking forward to you young ladies coming back once you get your degrees and do all your stuff, to come back to University Park as well to bring that same type of service and scholarship. We're looking forward to being able to say that, not just with you all, but also with all the rest of the scholars here at University Park. So we just wanted to make sure we acknowledge you all, and thank you for your for just being such good students and being here. And then I know, like I've heard Ayana sing a lot, and she plays the ukulele, so she has done a lot of different programs with the Juneteenth events that was put on. Also a lot of different events. So she has sung and played the ukulele in their team. So they do great work. So just wanted to acknowledge you.
Ladies, I just want to say thank you, because doctors for the future, for you guys that look like us, really help us in our health. It is so important, and I'm excited for you guys and your journey. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I too would like to say thank you. I think Eamon and Maya were here at the last board meeting, and I was there scholarship night taking pictures with you guys. It was a beautiful ceremony. The Nickersons do an outstanding job, and that's someone, again, that I brought to create programs for life lessons, and hopefully he'll be either working with the Park District or some type of program so that we can continue to have successful students like yourself. Thank you again.
All right. Madam Clerk, you have
Mayor,
something? No?
Mayor, one more. I would like to acknowledge Michelle King, who are these beautiful twins' mom. She's a dedicated a nurse and a mother, and she's a great mother. She's always emphasized the importance of academics. Can you come up so we can give you a hand too? Her children prove that she poured everything she had into them and encouraged them to excellence. And so we want to just give you kudos for being a good mom and an example of success. And thank you, Ms. King.
Thank you guys so much.
I would also like to thank you guys, the Mayor Board of Trustees. It's like a privilege being up here speaking because, I noticed that you guys are filming, and I wanted to be up here for the people at home, the kids at home that are attending Crete-Money High School, that are University Park residents that are living here. Also, they can know that that just applying for scholarships or just doing what you can to do to succeed, they have the opportunity to be up here to get these scholarships, to get full ride tuitions. They have the opportunity, they have their resources. It's a community here at University Park. I know my neighbors, I know the kids that live on my block. So it's amazing to be able to speak up here and let the kids know at home that this is possible, to get what I have, I just want to say thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to speak up here as well.
You're quite welcome. And listen, I'm quite sure if you ladies need any letters or recommendation, anybody here would be glad to support you guys. God bless you guys. Continue the good work. Blessings, Mom. Thank you so much.
Well, it's truly an honor to stand here today as a proud mother, overflowing with gratitude and admiration. I want to begin by expressing my deepest thanks to the Nickerson Foundation for their extraordinary generosity. The full academic scholarships awarded to my twin daughters were not just financial blessings, they were life-changing gifts that affirm the power of hard work, resilience, and the belief in the potential of the young minds. So to the Board of Trustees, I want to thank you for allowing us to use this platform. It's a reflection of how invested this community is in nurturing the next generation, and we don't take that lightly. And to my daughters, my girls.
Tears of joy are good. They are good.
Congratulations, baby. I've watched you grow into strong, brilliant women, and I've seen you studying late nights, your dedication to your goals, and the character that you've shown in the face of challenges. This scholarship is a recognition of all you've poured into your academic journey, and it's just the beginning. You've made your family and your communities proud.
Yes, you have.
But more importantly, you've made yourself proud. And that will carry you far, not just through college at UIC, but through life. I speak not only as a proud mother, but as a community member filled with hope. The seeds being planted today will blossom into futures filled with purpose, achievement, and leadership. And that is the kind of impact that echoes across generations. The world is yours for the taking. Thank you again to the Nickerson Foundation and everyone who believes in investing in our youth.
All right.
You've made a difference and we'll never forget it. Thank you for being a part of our
Thank you.
village.
Hey, Ma, I guess it's pretty much safe to say, in this case, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Carter. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Hi, you all. I won't be too long. My sister, my mother, they pretty much said everything that I'm feeling in this moment. I just want to firstly apologize. I know I've been back and forth in the bathroom, not feeling the best, but I just want to firstly thank the mayor and all of you trustees. Thank the Nickerson Foundation, and I also just want to thank my sister and my family, but I want to thank my sister. She's, as she said, summa cum laude, and she was the top 41 best GPAs out of our school this year. And my sister, she really, truly is a genius. And when she says she's going in for neuroscience or to be a neurosurgeon, I truly believe that she will accomplish that. So I just want to say this is my biggest inspiration. So again, I'm getting emotional. Thank you all so much. I'm going to put the mic down again. Thank you all.
Happy anniversary, Mayor.
Thank you. You know, Creek Monee and University Park really produce a lot of great young people. Lots of great young people come from University Park, and Creek know me. Creek know me. You know? All right. Cynthia Hudson, did you just sign in or do you have comments? You just signed in? For comments or just signing in? Oh, all right, go ahead. I just thought you were just signing in. All right.
You ain't seen me in so long, so you figured I was just part of the audience. Good evening, board, residents. I haven't been here for a while, but I do kind of keep up with what's going on. And first of all, I just want to say congratulations to the two young ladies and the mother that was just up here, because I'm hearing something that I don't like, I don't appreciate, so now I'm going to have to start getting back at the school board meetings, because I've heard several people tell me that out of all the kids that got scholarships from Creek Monee High School and at that award ceremony, there was no African Americans getting awards, getting scholarships. That kind of pisses me off. I'm talking about from like Creek Monee, not from the Nickerson Foundation, not from University Park's Educational Foundation. We support ours. But in 2000, when my daughter graduated, she graduated with a 4.0 GPA. Her ACT was higher than, they had 22 kids got scholarships that year. Not a one of them was African American. Well, they got the scholarships that the kids got, they were from that the African American kids got, they were from University Park's Educational Foundation. Other than that, the scholarships that was given out from Creek, there was no African Americans got scholarships. So that pissed me off then, and I told them it was too late that year for me to do anything about it, but I was going to be watching them.
So let me get clarity from you, Cynthia. Are you saying that the people who graduated from Crete-Monee High School received no scholarship, or is there a specific scholarship fund?
No, there's specific scholarships.
By Crete-Monee?
There's specific scholarships that Crete-Monee.
Is it the no, it's not the school district. Is it the booster club that did the scholarship?
The booster club is one of them.
Okay. I just want clarity for that, yeah.
It's one of them, yeah, or how many ever scholarships they give. But I'm going to be watching that because I know that our kids are very intelligent, as we just saw. And
yeah, no.
And I wanted them to be recognized, you know, and we have got to start going to these meetings because do I need to go? Or if we don't start going to these meetings, we don't have a voice. We fought. I'm one of the original plaintiffs in that lawsuit. It took us 10 years to fight it. We had no voice because we had no board members. We won 2 seats on the board. We stopped the one-way busing. They were trying to do that again a few years ago. We stopped them. They were going to close the magnet school, Coretta Scott King. They were going to close Talila. They were going to build 2 new schools, one in Crete and one in Monique. We stopped them again.
Miss Hudson, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay. And
shot clocks expired.
And get on the water. Aqua is the one who caused this problem. Stop letting them dictate the solutions to y'all. They should still be giving us water. We shouldn't have to keep buying water.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hudson. Deborah J. Ms. Millie, you sign on it. Ms. Millie? And then Deborah J. Stroud, then Tim Robinson, and then maybe we can call it a night.
Hi.
Good evening.
My name is Mildred Morgan, commonly known as Miss Millie. Just wanted to just be transparent and let the village know that we had a conference call with Mr. David Carter, who is the president of Aqua. And what we brought to him, of course, he already knows the message about the water, but here's what really disturbs a lot of people in University Park, and that is that site, the Aqua water site, with all of that garbage and debris, mounds of dirt, pebbles and rocks and stuff. There's trailers over there, all of those big pipes that's laying there. It's like in your face. They got the pipes just right up front. And every time we pass by, that's what we have to see. It's not fair. So what we were asking Mr. Carter is put a vinyl fence all around so we don't have to see that. It's not fair that our neighboring communities come past and see this. We see it every day, all day. Our children go to the store. They have to pass by that site. We also talked about the stench and how it smells. And it's really ironic because around holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July, that's when this stench arises. I wonder why. We don't like that. Aqua does not have any respect for us. None whatsoever. And so it's up to us to get together, say something. The young lady talked about the water and how it makes her itch. I'm a tough old gal, and I normally don't itch, but she's absolutely right. I have whelps and stuff, and it's from that water. And how can they say infants can't drink it, but yet and still everybody else can? That's not fair to us. And it's up to us to say something. And I want to thank a couple of trustees that was in on that call with Mr. Carter. We're asking Mr. Carter for 30 days to put that vinyl fence around so we don't have to see it. And if you don't believe me, because seeing is believing, go and pick up your water and drive through there, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You ain't even got to do that. Just pull up on the side and just look. I talked with Sarah Feeney about 8 months ago about the site getting progressively worse. And she said it was going to be just a short time. It's gotten worse and worse. And what really angers me about, I say angry all the time, y'all know that. But what really angers me about the residents is we accept it. What is wrong with us? How come we ain't got no fight? Why do we just lay down and go, well, you know, that's aqua, and let people just do things to us? We got stinky water, an ugly sight. They going up on our bill. Everything, they doing everything to us. All those pipes and things is in your face. We're going to make your area look ugly. And that angers me. I'm a fighter. And I wish there was a lot more people like me that would not be chicken and say something and do something. That's all I got to say. Oh, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to say it real fast before she put that clock on. We're already short-staffed. And I didn't see it, I hear you on TV, but you had some of our staff with you. Is that fair? Public Works manager should have been with Public Works because they're short-staffed. Our chief, hardworking man, he should have been with the short-staffed policemen, not standing by you. Our firemen, there was a man missing when a call comes through. I have my 83-year-old aunt at my home, and they come over all the time and pick her up. I could depend on that. They don't need to be standing by you. There are some others that should be standing by you, not the hardworking people of University Park. Stop using our staff, and we're already short for your own endeavors. Don't do that to us. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Deborah J. Stroud.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, those present, those viewing. First off, I wanted to start out by saying thank you, Ms. Scott, for finally getting the summer grass cutting program started. Appreciate that. I hope from the time it started, you've gotten some more applications in, because I've been working very, very diligent, spreading the word to everybody I can spread that does not already have a summer contract in place. Okay? And Fire Chief, I forgot to mention firefighter paramedic Dennison. I attended the CPR class, AED, and it's kind of disappointing to me that people continuously say the village gives you nothing. I don't care what age. I always hear about the youth and the seniors, but from 14 on up could have attended this session. And when you consider, especially with school out, there may be children at home that parents and or grandparents might end up relying on having had that training. So please announce if and when it can be done again, especially at this time of year perhaps, for those children that may be at home. Also, conversation about Regal Farm, the sign that is on Western and Olmsted, that sign looks more tired than I am. Honest to God, I'm tired. I've been on 4 expressways a day. I'm tired. That sign is tired. When or can something be done about that sign that says Regal Farm? Are you aware of the sign I'm referring to? It was green at once upon a time. Yes, it was. And I'm still asking about the Highland Avenue sign. Can something be done about that as well? I know you had began searching, researching.
Yes, so the Highland Avenue sign was actually already made and it was installed. I can double check. If it's not up, it must have fell, but that was put up. I do have records of that as well. As far as for the Western and Olmsted with that Regal Farm, I could take a look at that and see if I do have a extra sign for the Regal Farm in my garage. If I don't, that's something else that we can order the same way that we ordered for that Highland sign.
Thank you so much. And as far as the Park District workshop, was that determined as to when that would occur? So I have to wait until it's posted, go to the workshop before I can turn in an application as a commissioner. I have to wait. Okay, then that being the case, and I wish Miss King was here because I tell her Happy Father's Day. Okay, being a single parent, I know what that's like, and she's doing double duty and raising females in today's times, being as mannerable, as intelligent and educational that they are, that my heart goes out to her immensely. But I'll wait for the posting of that workshop so I can apply. That being the case, happy anniversary. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, gentlemen. Everyone have a safe evening.
Thank you. We got one last one. That's Mr. Robinson. Michelle, you got 3 minutes to close us out with.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. My name is Michelle Sabasco. I'm from Governor State University, and I'm here to talk about a couple of programs that I think would be very impactful to the community here of University Park. The first one is tomorrow, related to a Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act discussion related to, we have invited several WorkNet boards to the meeting, and so we would love to have the University Park input. I also brought information about a CNC boot camp that we are offering in partnership with the Calumet Area Industrial Commission. This boot camp is free for individuals that qualify that are over 18 years old. It is a CNC training program. Open enrollment is happening right now. Our next open enrollment date will be happening on Governor State University's property in the GMT building on June 12th. That'll go from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have a variety of youth camps at Governor State University, a STEAM camp that starts in July, followed by a blues camp, blues and broadcast camp. Blues and broadcast camp is for your young musicians in your life to learn more about the Chicago style blues, free. It's free. We also have an aviation camp that's happening at the Bolta Airfield, which is right in our backyard. And so for your young aviators, we would like to invite all of them to come and have an exposure, wheels on the ground, to aviation, drone, all things flight. I was brought here by Tim Robinson under the umbrella of the work that we're doing at Governor State University related to veterans. Recently, we hired on an AmeriCorps Vista, and fortunately, we have been able to keep her. And we have a robust schedule of veterans events on our campus, free to the community and welcoming veterans and their families. So we really want to see veterans and their families on our campus. And the last thing that I would like to talk about very quickly is we do have an opportunity at Governor State University for individuals that you know with disabilities that have transitioned out of the high school transitions experience, that are looking for more opportunities and things to do, and next steps, be that workforce development, be that collegiate opportunities, be that certificate opportunities. We want to help individuals with disabilities get to work. We have been sponsored by the Illinois Community College Board to provide a scholarship, so the opportunity is free. So we have quite a lot of robust opportunities, and by the generous philanthropic sponsorship and grants, we have a lot of free opportunities, and so that is the purpose of my visit today. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
So these programs that is coming here that I set up the partnership with, I'm gonna make sure you hear them from the horse's mouth. I'm gonna tell you what you need to know, not what you hear. These programs I bring, I will not stand up here before you unless I included the residents. So the incentive that I have with Governor State, Future Vision Entertainment, and Stepping with the Veterans is bringing unity back to the community. University Park has a lot of untapped resources out here. And if you don't know your history, I need everybody to go look up Black Wall Street. University Park can be the next Black Wall Street, okay? So if we work together, like I said, bringing unity to the community, we can make things happen. I have events coming up, so y'all make sure y'all support. Stepping with the Veterans brings the money back so I can bring other events out here. So when you see that, support it, because that money comes right back to the next events that we bringing out here to the community. All right? Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion? All in favor? Who's opposed? No one. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for the participation.